Alright, folks, welcome back to another Palm Massive video. So the second seasonal banner is up, right? So let's talk about it. So this one, just like the other one, combines multiple of the seasonal units into one banner and has a combined rate of 2% for let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 6 units. So it's 0.333% each. So yeah, the rates are not that great. So they start from the first seasonal, right? The Christmas Seabold, right? All the way up to right before the spring seasonal. So they don't have Berg and May here. They go up to the Palantines, which is in this case Dawn. The other banner had the other half, and this banner has, you know, this half, right? So in terms of what we got, the first one, we got Holiday Seabold Octillery, right? Which is the only one that doesn't have any EX. And then the second one, Summer Lyra and Jigglypuff. Third one got Hilbert, Mighty Ina. Then we got Erica Comfy for the second holiday one, and then we got Lance and Gyarados for the New Year's, and then we got Palatine's Dawn for the Valentine's one, right? Or Palatine's, whatever you want to call it. Overall, I'd say this banner is much weaker than the other one, right? Again, I think this first of all, the strongest seasonal is on the other one, right? At least the strongest seasonal of all these. You can make an argument for like, okay, Marty maybe could be better than Palorina. Maybe Berg could be better than Palorina, but I generally think Palorina is still probably the best seasonal. But again, that's subjective, whatever, right? Yeah, and this banner, it's not like this banner doesn't have any good ones, right? Hilbert's great, Lance is great, Dawn's great. The other ones, I guess, like Erica in of itself is great, but like I don't think it's a good pull though, right? But then like stuff like Lyra, Seabold's not bad. It just gets dragged by like the billion other water types in the game, right? Unfortunately, Lyra's just mediocre, right? So I'd say the worst unit in terms of both banners. This banner has the better worst unit. Right, this banner was probably probably Lyra, and then the other one has Acerola, and Lyra's not that great, but Lyra's much better than Acerola, unfortunately for Acerola. So let's just get into these units, right? For those who aren't super familiar with their kits, right? Let's talk about their kits. So first of all, Hilbert, in terms of why this guy's so good, right? And he's probably actually, I don't know. I personally like Palatine's Dawn a bit better. Oh my god, I love using Palatine's Dawn. Such a great unit, right? But anyways, let's talk about Hilbert first. So Hilbert, you have good HP, mostly because you have a recoil move. Bad defenses, attack's actually pretty good, right? Speed's not terrible. Actually, it's pretty decent speed. And then you have Crunch, Double Edge for your 2 damaging moves. Crunch obviously has the chance of lowering the opponent's defense. Double Edge, you do damage to yourself, but much higher base power, as you can see, right? Almost like double. Attack, X attack, and then Roar, which is a pretty nice trainer move, right? +2 speed. That's yeah, don't mind that. +2 crit. And then lowers your special defense by 1. So it's +2 speed, +2 crit, right, basically. And then your sync move is +1 crit after you sync, which is nice. And then your passives have Carry On, which buffs your attack every time you, or every time there's a unit on the field that faints, right? Could be on your side, could be on the opponent's side. Spur On, charge your move gauge every time something faints, right, by 4. Dark Shift turns Double Edge into Dark type move. And then your grid is actually really nice as well, especially your 2 out of 5 grid. You got Insult to Injury, which is a great multiplier, right? Based on how much you lower the opponent's defense. You got Haymaker, which is Sync Nuke, based on how much you buff your attack, right? You got Ramming Speed, which is extra 30% if you max out your speed, right? Super Duper Effective 1, which is not really worth picking up. But extra 10% if you're super effective. What else? First Aid 4 to help with the Double Edge recoil. You got 2 Standfast 5s to help with the Double Edge recoil, right? Double Edge, you got 2 Move Gauge Refresh 2s. Crunch, you have On a Roll over here to, again, increase the chances of debuffing the opponent's defense. and then you have 2 move gauge refresh 2s on crunch as well, right? So like this guy has a really solid grid all around, on top of just being a really great dark type damage dealer. It is definitely a great unit if you are lacking dark type damage dealers, right? So there's that. Anyways, moving on, let's talk about, I don't know, let's talk about Alcremie next. Again, Alcremie is probably my in my opinion the best out of these. Again, you could definitely make an argument for Hilbert as well, although I probably wouldn't. But yeah, Alcremie is a do-it-everything support tech-ish kind of unit, right? So your base stats are, base stats don't really matter that much. You're generally not going to be tanked with Alcremie. You can, but you generally won't be. Good speed, right, I guess is all that matters. Oh, your special attack's actually pretty good. So there's that. Dazzling Gleam, AoE, fair type damage. Charm debuffs your opponent's attack by 2. Fake Tears debuffs the opponent's special defense by 2. This is the big one, right? And then you have House Sweet, which a lot of people forget she has, which is actually really good. +2 attack, special attack for a unit, and then gradual heals as well, right? This is a really good unit. So you could debuff the opponent's special attack to make your special strikers do more damage. And then if you need to top, you know, anyone off, whether it's physical or special, you could do that as well. Also the charm if you need that. Ripple effect, 50% chance of applying your debuffs to the whole opponent's team. You got Power Loving, which buffs your damage. Again, sure, damage isn't like terrible, but it's also anything, you know, too crazy either. Got First Aid, and then you have MPRs on double MPRs on your trainer move, and then you have double move gauge refreshes on every single one of your moves, which is nice, right? Double move gauge refresh 2s. Toughen Up to buff your defense a bit, which could help you tank a bit. Revenge Boost for some gauge back. Healthy Healing to help you, you know, heal back a bit, right? Some Dazzling Gleam stuff. Power Posture. So yeah, overall, really great. Like it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. You do a bit of everything, right? Moving on, there's also Lancetos, right? Lancetos is good. He just does really good damage, basically, right? His setup is wonky. His team comps are weird, but you can't deny he could do good damage. This is a Hyper Beam unit after all, right? Hyper Beam unit with a 390 special attack is nothing to joke about, right? What is to joke about is bounce. Bounce is not, you know, incredible. It is a 2-turn move, unfortunately, right? You have potions as well. Superior Might. I'm not a huge fan of this trainer move. 33% of your HP for like +1 attack and special attack and accuracy. Yeah, I mean you need to run a support with this guy. Flying Shift turns your Hyper Beam into Flying type. Power Flux 5, which is nice. Adrenaline's whatever. And then your grid, you actually have some interesting stuff unlike the other Lance. Right, you got Racing Rain 3, you got Raging Rain 2, right? You could run this guy in Rain, definitely. Refreshing Rain as well over here. Paralysis Energy 1 on Hyper Beam, specifically. Let's see, 2 move gauge refreshes on Hyper Beam, and then Shower Power 5, right, to do some damage on your sync. Carry on as well, so really good damage dealer, right? Like big damage, right? What else do we got again? Let me check. Oh yeah, Seabold, Lyra, and Coffee. Okay, Coffee. Here's the thing with Coffee. Is Coffee good at what Coffee does? Yes, Coffee is very good at what Coffee does, and what Coffee does is a fantastic tank with Draining Kiss, self heals, X regen all, and then Lay Up, which is an AoE potion for your whole team. Right, gives you some defense as well. Healing Hand, you have another Healing Hand on the grid as well, so really great chance of getting rid of statuses for your team. Yeah, I also have a Mass Heal on Draining Kiss. You have HP advantage on, you know, to help you deal more damage on your Draining Kiss, in turn heal more, right? All that stuff. So Shade Fortune and Lay Up if you want that. Very good tank. Fantastic tank. However, everyone has access to Xerneas, right? So Xerneas is also a tank, also a very good tank. So I don't really, there's no really, you know, unless you want 2 of these, which obviously, you know, you need 5 teams of Master Mode. I mean, she could still be useful, but she's basically overshadowed by Xerneas, right? For the most part. All right, next one, Jigglypuff. The thing with Jigglypuff is Oh, man, there's so many bad things about Jigglypuff. If you look at the stats, good special attack stat, right? Good physical attack stat. HP's good. Very, very, very slow, right? Play Rough's your main damage dealing move, Dark Hit Plus. Solo Act, not that great of a trainer move, honestly, right? Just +1 attack, special attack. It's just not that great. Clock Out, you put the opponent to sleep after you sink. Not that great. I'll explain why in a bit. Mad Strength 2, Mind Swell 2, 30% chance of buffing your attack, special attack when you use a move. And then your grid, you have Rude Awakening 5, extra 50% on your sync move when their opponents are asleep. Good Nightmare 5, extra 50% to your damage when the opponent's asleep, right? And then 2 move get refresh on Play Rough, which definitely helps. And yeah, why I do not think Jigglypuff is that great. First of all, you do need quite a bit of setup, right? So there's a lot of things you have to fix with Jigglypuff. First of all, you need someone to put the opponents to sleep, so you trigger your multipliers. Second of all, you need someone that's good for your team speed, because Jigglypuff is very, very slow. Third of all, right, you need someone to max out Jigglypuff's physical attack for Play Rough. And if you also want to nuke with Jigglypuff, also Jigglypuff special attack. So very, very high requirements for your team. And then after you do all that, her damage is not very good. It's like you do all that stuff for her, and then it turns out, okay, you're doing like what, 400, 500k damage, which is not very, very good, right? And the reason why I said this is kind of pointless is you're bringing a sleep unit anyways, right? Like, you're bringing a Serena. If you don't have Serena, like, you could use single target sleepers, but obviously Serena's just, you know, that good, right? But like, yeah, you don't really, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that's Jigglypuff. And then last one, Seabold. Seabold, again, he just doesn't have a 6 REX. He has a good sync nuke. He has Rising Tide over here, right, in terms of his stats. Not very fast. Defenses are fine. HP's okay-ish. Special attack's not great, but again, you do make up for it with being water type, right? Crit Strike 3 is good. What else? Burn Synergy 3 is good. Using power, you could do that. Right, he has some good multipliers to make up for his bad special attack. Plus Rain also helps. Scald, low base power move, unfortunately. Octazooka could debuff the opponent's accuracy, so if you want to run something with Seabold May to debuff opponent's accuracy for like hide and sync for May, that should be fun, right? You could do that. But yeah, it's a solid unit. It's just that there's so many better water types, unfortunately. So yeah, again, in terms of this banner, right, overall, if you just want like 1 or 2 units in this banner, again, my same advice for the last banner, I'd probably just wait for those units to rerun on their own, just because these rates are way too low, right? Because for example, if they do rerun on a dual banner, right, it's gonna be 1% each in comparison to the 0.333% each, which is 3 times higher, right? Even if it is a dual featured banner. And yeah, I mean, I guess like if you just really can't wait till next year's Valentine's, then okay. But like generally, I mean, we're not that far away from Halloween. We're not super far away from Christmas. Okay, we're like slightly. Okay, we are like a few months away, but like, and then New Year's is right after, obviously. But like, summer we're pretty far away. So if you really want Summer Liar for some reason and you don't want to wait till next summer, then okay, you could go for it. But overall, I'd say this banner, if you're just looking for 1 or 2 units, probably not worth it. Not a bad pull if you want multiple, if you want like 4 or 5 of these units at least, right? Or you don't mind getting any of them, then sure, you could go with this, right? But again, in my opinion, it's probably a bit better just go for specific banners, right? So yeah, that's I guess. Anyways, that's for me this one. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me guys think in the comments down below. I'd like to join us for this channel for some more Pokemon content. I'll see you guys in the next one.